We are good. We're live. So welcome, Tint Wisdom number 128.
Hello, live world.
Liz and Dave, artistic window tinting.
Oh, I was going to ask you, did you say, should I switch? I don't know if it'll ruin it now, but I think I'm connected to the shop's internet, or should I try to connect to the regular?
I think we're good right now. We have good audio and video, so I think we're good. If we run into trouble, we can go down that route.
Okay.
Are we going to get to read the comments too or no?
No, I don't believe so. You tell me. Can you see the comments on your end?
I don't see it the way it's set up at this point.
I haven't been a guest on this software, so I don't know. I don't truly know the answer to that.
But
But
now
I will
there.
tell you this: the more you stream
I'm
it,
going to share it, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
The more what?
So just kind of some tips. You immediately run into audio problems usually, just like that. And then the next thing that'll happen is potentially, if you pay attention to the comments, the whole time you'll be distracted and we'll never get too far into the conversation of anything. So that's typically why I tell everybody, don't have it up, don't stream it. It's me and you having great conversation. And that's typically the best way to, I feel like, do it. But with that said, if you want to watch the comments, watch them. No matter what, I'll read the standout ones out loud and put them up on screen because any comments like that I obviously want to add in. So,
Sounds good.
all right. So Dave, the shaver. Vinny just said smooth Dave. Um, I didn't know if the smooth Dave was in reference to you being the shaver, like smooth, clean edge.
I mean, we just, because my nickname has been Daver, but everyone's calling me like Liz and Dave. And so I kind of wanted to keep the Daver part. And then when she said we needed to have some kind of, not a stage name, but how Liz is the window tinting queen, we've got, what's Dave Dillinger? What is he? The Dangerous Dave Dillinger or something? And
Yep,
so I think there's even another Dave or David in the show. And so that's why I was trying to go back to Daver. And so we just said, how about Daver the Shaver?
I like it. I dig it. So,
I wouldn't say I'm the world's greatest shaver when it comes to window tinting, but.
oh, you're not supposed to say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're getting ready to have a competition, I could come out with the worst shave job if we're shaving. So I don't want to claim the name on the nickname.
I mean, I could easily see you just downplaying it so that other people don't prepare.
Yeah.
He does
Yeah.
that a lot.
It's really hard for anybody to know. And one of the things, kind of talking on downplaying. Look, I'm just going to tell you, I always try to, it's my perspective. My perspective from the other side of the world, which is actually, we're only a couple hours away from each other, is, at first, I really saw you both as like, you imagine a shop that does some cars in and out, happy day, and so on, probably making a great living. How would I know? But hopefully you are, and you seem happy and so on. But where I'm going with this is when I saw that you have just under 1,000 Google reviews, it's like it goes from like what I just described to powerhouse is like in my mind it's powerhouse because it's not like, and there's not like, I'm trying to find the right words because it has nothing to do with you, but I don't want to, I want to really like when I say mom and pop or, it's just like, you just imagine somebody who just says, I'm coming to work. I like to tint. I'm going to tint. I'm going to do whatever kind of like, it's just, like go with the flow. And then when you see 1,000 reviews, you see something completely different. It's a different angle. It's powerhouse. So like you were talking about underestimating, I feel like there's probably a lot of people out there who don't have any concept of the kind of powerhouse that you're running in Yuba City, California.
Yeah. We rule this town.
No, it's good because it's not only like we say a small town. A lot of places could say, my town is a certain population, but our surrounding towns are practically dead until you get to the next town. So you could be a small town literally next door, a bigger town, and the same story wouldn't apply the way ours kind of is, the way it's kind of all falls into place with being like well known in a small community, and with the reviews. There's not a lot of options. So it's kind of like a one review in our town goes quite far because it kind of ends at our border of our entire town and community. And then it's just back to going to like say Sacramento, as I mentioned.
How many
So
tin shops? How many tin shops are in your area? If I was to just search on, let's say Yelp or Google, would I find within reasonable area? How many approximately?
I mean, in our surrounding town, I think there's 3 or 4, and then
Okay.
you might kind of get those ads, or maybe even another one that shows up from a 30 plus mile away from the 3 to 4 I just mentioned. The 3 to 4 with all probably, if talking our town, from one stretch to the other is probably less than 15 minutes if you wanted to drive from almost one side of our town to the next.
And does
So the
anybody
drive out of town.
does anybody within that area, any of the other tint shops, have over 100 reviews?
No.
I mean,
I don't know.
No, I think they're either in the hundreds or just under it, but I don't know if they're in the threes or twos. But
'Cause
I
I
think
d-
like when I click on our name, I think like you say, I think I see the first two, and I think they're like either in the hundreds or just under.
because like if you're a car owner and you're looking for a tint shop and you want a great tint job, you see those reviews, it's hard for you to not feel like there's only one choice. If you see 120 reviews, 230 reviews, 8 reviews, 960 reviews, it feels like there's one choice that's going to get you what you want. And then there's the other options, which could be good, but who knows? They're probably good too.
What's great with our reviews is that because some people, you could pay for reviews.
Not really.
So
You kind of can, but you can't, like, you kind of can. Like, you can incentivize customers. You could pay strangers, but ultimately, you can't really pay your way to 900 reviews. Like, that's a very big task to try and, if anybody tried to do that, I don't think that actually happens anymore,
We have, because we have, like, I'm big with pictures. We have pictures of the customers that actually go hand in hand with their review.
So how many pictures do you have uploaded? It's like 1,000 or 2,000, right?
10,000 since I started. I only started uploading our pictures on Instagram about 3 years ago when we moved into the shop.
But to like Google and Yelp.
10,000 pictures so far.
So like, a couple things here. Number one, I'd be willing to bet that you're in the top 10 most reviewed tint shops in the country. Number two, I guarantee you're in the top 5, if not the number 1 or 2 top pictures on Google tint shop in the country. And like, these are things that like, I'm not trying to take away, like I'm trying to build you up, but I want to tell everybody like, everybody's pretty much capable of this. And it's one of those obvious things that it's like, if I say, how many pictures have you taken of tint jobs? People say, well, I have thousands on my phones. And you'll go, well, why aren't they on the internet where they can do good for you? You know what I mean? Or in some sort of sales process or something. And you've done that. You just simply said, I'm going to put a shitload of pictures on the internet and I'm going to get a shitload of reviews.
Yeah, I already love taking pictures to begin with. I take pictures of myself all the time.
So
it's natural to me.
Did you go to?
I think we had a friend that was going to work with us, and that was just kind of like the stories of saying, we need people that are savvy with their phones, willing to do, even if it is just selfies, just if you brought somebody in that really didn't even have a cell phone or wasn't really in their family, just didn't believe in the whole Facebook and all that stuff. It is a job of its own. You know what I mean? So you really not only have to be able to understand it, be good at it, but then put the dedication into it as far as for the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know that, like we said, the stuff that she does, I mean, she's doing it throughout the whole day, in the evenings, on the weekends, in a roundabout explanation, not necessarily, but like when it comes to visors, a lot of times I'm just the one that would tint the visors. And it's just when a visor comes up, people are looking at me. And it's almost to say when a customer's checking out a car, we all look, hey, someone's here to get the car, get the car. And then so then she kind of checks them out and kind of talks with them and gets to know them. And in a sense, better than the rest of us could, or as good as she. And so it just makes it more common sense. I do the visors, she gets the reviews, we all have our little parts.
To get the results that you get, it's a lot of work. But some people may say like, well, I do it for X amount of time. And some people may not realize that these types of tasks are worth all the time that you put into them. Because if somebody was to put in, let's just say it takes, throw out a number, 10 hours a week of extra time or 15 hours a week of extra time that you're kind of working on it. If somebody was to put 30 minutes a week of extra time instead of that 10 or 15 hours, they could easily be like, it's not really worth my time, right?
Yeah.
But you have to dig deeper into it.
You have to, yeah.
It is like that term, internal, what is it? The internal revenue or whatever, where it's kind of like, as long as it stays there, it's worth a value. The customer that just says thank you, the end of it is right after the handshake.
Right.
The picture on Google, the very first one is holding value today. The one we did, whatever many years ago.
People love seeing their pictures. They love seeing it.
Yeah, we have some people that even have put it as profile pictures on their own Facebook page, because they love their vehicles. They just got their car. We've got a picture with them. So there's their little profile picture.
Yeah, with the whole COVID, that's what we hate. We can't stand next to the customer, take pictures, hands, because for me, I'm extremely, what's that called? I like kind of, giving customers hugs, contact and stuff. And now it's like, oh, I feel so distant with my customers.
You don't know what people might feel, if you're coming in on, for a hug or a shake or anything.
Coming in hot. Well, those pictures that you're taking, because they're not just pictures of a car, they're selfies with the customer. Like, those are essentially reviews. They're visual reviews, because nobody's going to be in that picture if they weren't ecstatic. Because, like, nobody takes pictures with businesses that they do business with. In general, it's like, I can't remember one single time I've taken a picture with a business that I've done. Oh, no, I do. The last time I bought a car at the Toyota dealership, they asked me if I take a picture, and just because I know how much value it provides them, I did it, and I left a review with the picture. However, in general, nobody takes pictures. It means you are very happy, and instead of just taking a picture of the car and moving on, you're getting a selfie with the customer. That's a picture of you, and then they're more inclined to leave you an actual written review because they've formed that bond with you.
We were giving the lanyards for the keychains out for a little while, and it is nice to be able to hand something to somebody. And I mean, Liz and I, being the owners in that sense, that we're giving them something from us, whereas like I see a lot of these new cars that come in that they have like the hat from Chevrolet or whatever, and like some brochure, or maybe even a shirt or something. And I'm sure, as we're saying, that's just, okay, you get this, thanks for your purchase, and it's out the door. And so it is like a lot of these common practices with businesses. We're following a program that's to the benefit of the customers to show respect, but it means more when you're deeper involved with them. It's not just, oh, I'm supposed to give you this hat, I'm supposed to give you this, sign here, the car is yours, have a good day. I mean, we're kind of proud to be able to show them our logo, our branding. It's all coming from us, so that's what makes it even. They feel that too.
I would imagine it makes, like, if a customer sees you online, sees your pictures, decides to contact you, it makes everything from there on out so much more easy in a lot of cases, I would imagine, for you, because that customer is already coming into this going, these people really take care of their customers. So they're like coming in with their open arms, as opposed to like in any sort of defensive way.
Yeah.
And they know like the quality of the work too. They know they're taken care of. They don't have to check.
Yeah, they come in knowing, I mean, if they don't know us, we feel like we've known each other forever. They feel like they've known us. We'll walk in and I'll talk to someone. I'm like, have you been here before? And then they'll say no. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like you have, we feel like we've known each other forever.
Some faces as getting a window tint job could come from anywhere from 1 to 3 years later. And I mean, I recognize people on some level, like, do I remember you from a week ago or do I remember you from years ago? I can't remember. And then even when they just say, I'm a return customer, or tell us it's been a couple of years, it's kind of like, wow, you just look so familiar. I don't think it didn't. I guess we're just blinded in our, you wake up one day to realize you're retired, I guess, but we're just getting older in the same day over and over and over.
Right. What just came to mind is you could potentially get like a big screen TV, like a big screen TV, maybe something like an 80-inch TV from Amazon. They're like $1,200. And what you could do is there's programs out there that will basically take all the pictures that you put in them and turn it into, where it's like, it looks like your logo, but it's made up of pictures. So you could potentially do that with your customers' selfies and then bring that into, like, it's like a collage. It's your logo, or it says thank you from artistic, but it's like made up of their pictures. And it could be something that gets updated as you go. Just throwing that out there. I feel like.
We had a big screen
TV up there.
It was only, I think, 45, 50 inches.
Something.
It wasn't 83 or nothing, but
that was huge.
It could be a projector too.
The way the TVs are is you just plug in a USB and it'll actually say, what are we doing here? Photos, videos, and if it's photos, right, you could set it up to just do a random slideshow. And so I downloaded a lot of the Instagram photos and a lot of the Facebook photos.
And then we'll have customers that come in that's like, that's my friend. Oh, I know them.
That's awesome.
But I didn't have the time to try to crop and fit hundreds of photos, so I just threw them as is. But it was funny because when we would walk by, just in between jobs,
it brings back memories for us.
Yeah, you recognize
those,
the
like, oh, I remember that person. Remember what happened?
Yeah, you know
So
you can do
definitely, like
too.
you said, the collage as far as all those. We were even thinking too to even put picture frames of customers, but
We have too many pictures.
yeah. These are just business cards behind us from customers, and so
So
that's
that's another thing that you did. What, probably about
That's our
2 years ago?
yeah.
I feel
So
like
now
what?
we have over what?
What's
One,
that?
two, three, four,
Oh,
five.
I feel like maybe what, a year or two ago you introduced the business card wall. Is that about right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a community thing, right? It's like saying, hey, you have a business, we have a business. We'll give you a little space on our wall for your business, which is something that a lot
Yeah,
of
I
new
feel like
tinters appreciate because they're going around putting out business cards and hoping that they can put their business card for their new business somewhere.
yeah, a lot of the like I've gone to restaurants or even our daughter's gymnastics, they have a place to put your business cards, but they'll allow them to get filled up and they just kind of ignore it after that. Where, Liz is we got to order another one, we got to order another one, we're almost to the end.
I give them a shout out on our page too, and then have them hold the sign. Have you seen the picture?
On our Instagram, she'll let them
Yeah.
hold a blank sign and then we superimpose whatever their
Their
business
business
card
card
looks
is.
like while they're holding the sign.
I
And
love it.
then, so they're
It
even
helps
happy.
them, connect with our customers,
Right.
and then helps us
Well,
too connect with their customers. We're tagging their business in the post.
and if they kind of know that you're going to be referring people to them, they're going to be a little more maybe diligent about referring people to you. It forms that two-way connection. How do you handle refilling them? Do people come by and refill their own, or do they
I
leave a
tell
stock?
people,
She'll walk around with another live video and say, "Hey, these are all our customers. If you see, if you
Yeah.
if you haven't been here in a while or want to check in, feel
they
free to
can
come
call
by and
me
fill
to
them
have
up."
me
Or,
look up, but I have no idea.
yeah, she'll say if there's an empty slot, she doesn't know what was there, but if
Yeah.
she sees there's one or two, she could kind of call the number.
So, kind of switching subjects. I don't know if this is still on the table, but Liz, you mentioned you wanted to do, or you're going to do, or you're considering doing, like a live or like a show, right? Like a YouTube, Facebook
Yeah.
type show, right? That's still on the table,
Let me
yeah?
tell you something.
Show me. There it is. Spill the beans with the queen, with the window tinting queen.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh,
I like the name a lot. Spill the beans with the queen, with the window tinting queen.
Yeah.
yep.
Dig it. Okay, so
So that's my announcement. So yeah, I'm gonna have it hopefully on Sunday. My friend she's gonna be my first in. I'm gonna interview her. She is training to be a national bodybuilder,
okay.
and then from there on, hopefully I could build. Kind of hitting up people to put them on my show.
So it
See
feels
how it goes.
it feels like a natural fit for this to have, like, for your show to have like like a local flavor to it, because I feel like people in your city would be very interested in watching this because you obviously found ways to integrate businesses into your business. You're going to do the same, I'm sure, with local people and things. So is that the idea? Like if you could fast forward a year and be like, who's your most engaged audience? Is it going to be like probably cities, like people of your city?
Yeah, people in our town is our most engaged audience.
That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
that just
we
takes it
have
up
enough
another
support
level.
here. Huh?
It takes it up
Yeah.
another level.
Yeah, so it's like you say, it's a platform that's just kind of starting. So it's kind of like you say, it can build in directions that we keep throwing different ideas back and forth. But I'm sure you just got to dive in and see kind of what it makes of itself as far as the platform starts out and what works well, what kind of picks up.
Yeah.
So where is it? When's it going to be? When's the first one?
Sunday, we're thinking 3 o'clock.
Eastern time, right?
Pacific time, our time.
Pacific. So noon if you're in the Eastern time zone,
Yeah.
2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific this Sunday. And then it's going to be on Facebook.
I'm thinking Facebook on my window tinting queen so I could share it across the platforms.
Is that an
See
open
how it goes.
page?
Yeah, it is.
Public?
It's a public page. It's just window
Yeah.
tinting queen.
On Facebook, Window Tinting Queen.
Cool. So window tinting queen, you might as well go follow the
With
page
that
now.
same,
I'm gonna share it across all the groups that I'm in. So hopefully you guys don't get too annoyed because I've been sharing a ton of stuff.
yeah, I
You're like,
follow,
she's sharing it again. She's sharing her thing again.
I follow a lot of the groups. I hear some people mention they only follow one or two, and so of course when she posts things, I see, if I'm in 8 groups, I see it posted in 8 places, and then sometimes there's certain things I'll share that I've done a video on, and I do feel I'm curious which ones should I share it on. I mean, but as we say, some people would never see it if I don't share it on a different one, since maybe not everyone's in all of them.
It's true. It's a interesting one because when I do see a post that is shared across, like, let's say 7, so they comes up like boom, 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 boom. It does make me, I think, because I think about that too. The same thing you're running into, I think everybody runs into. I think, to me, it makes me kind of feel like maybe less likely to comment, or because I feel like the comments are sparse and spread out. I feel like it does something with the comment engagement because somebody says something here, somebody something there. You reply here. Do you also reply? You have to. I don't know, but I don't know. I think, like you said, some people are not part of every group, so some people are not going to see it if you don't share it everywhere. If I see it over and over, it doesn't really like ruin my day in any sort of way. I just go right past it, or I read the comments if there is one. So I don't know. I don't know if there is too much.
What really can ruin your day, Eric?
I think, like we say, a lot of it, it's like we said, it's like clubs. There are clubs, you're a part of this club, that club, or you might just be a general person of all clubs. But if some people in one club, I wouldn't say are more aggressive or mean, or maybe take things a little more serious, where another club or group could be a little bit more relaxed. So somebody looking at the same video in one platform could have nothing but positive things, and another one have nothing but negative things.
Yeah, I had someone say something negative about one of my posts and said, "Who cares?" And then I just blocked them. So it's not a big deal. You don't care to see stuff from me, then you're just blocked.
Yeah, that's definitely a way to go about it. And that's its own challenge now that is ahead of you is, how to deal with those people. And like, I don't think you're an amateur at it. I think you probably have plenty of experience because you're not new to social media. But I will try to just throw my own opinion out there and like, really, really, really remind yourself, no matter how you handle it, don't engage. Like, you can't engage in it. Like, don't invest yourself into it.
Some people, there's nothing you can do. I wouldn't say I make a game out of it, but some people's comments I felt might have been a little rude to me and something I posted, and then I just theoretically try to figure out the nicest way to make it sound like you're right and I'm wrong. I guess that's what seems like they wanted to say at the moment. So I guess you're right or whatever. But
a lot of people go for jokes. They go for being witty. They go for being sarcastic. They go for trying to be an adversary there's nothing wrong with those people. They're super nice people and they're like really, really great people. And sometimes their posts come across like shit. And like, the whole point is it's not worth going to war over. You might not like it. You may not want to talk to them. You may not, whatever, but don't go to war with anybody, in my opinion, because it's really going to be about making shows, and anything other than making shows and entertaining and educating is like extra energy that's not going through the one thing that is actually a lot of work is going to be making shows and making them great, We're doing a giveaway.
Yeah, we were actually going to have a giveaway. We haven't decided, unless you wanted to help us how we were going to give it out, but I think we were going to definitely give one of the cups that are similar to this one here, but this is the Tint Wiz, but we have one similar with our artistic window tinting.
I want to do one with my window tinting queen as well, but I have the logo. I just have the logo, so I don't have my merch up yet.
So we have nothing to send out to whoever these winners are right now.
Okay, so how about we do this?
I have the logo, but I don't have the merch. I don't have,
Let's get started by doing a giveaway that I set up before this that we can do right now. And anybody watching can go ahead and do it. It'll be an easy giveaway. We're not going to pick a number between 1 and 20. We're absolutely not going to do that.
It was Jason's great idea.
Yeah, we're not going to do it. What we're going to do is we made a discount code, and we're going to basically that discount code can be used 5 times. It can only be used for an artistic window film hoodie or t-shirt. So either a hoodie or a t-shirt. It makes it completely free. It can be used 5 times. So basically what I'm saying is after I share this coupon code, 5 people can go to go to shop.tintwiz.com. Either go to the artistic window film hoodie or t-shirt, buy it, use the discount code that I'm about to say. It'll be free. And that's it. So discount code.
Person can use the discount code 5
well,
times?
by the time they're done.
No, it can only be used for 1 shirt or 1 hoodie by 1 time per person for 5 people.
Oh, wow.
So there'll be 5 winners of a shirt or a hoodie.
Thank you, yeah.
Oh,
wow, can I go in and order it?
Thank you.
Can I use it too?
Well, your hoodies and shirts are on the way. So yes, but no. But yes, but no. If you have fast fingers. All right. So we should give out that code. And it's pretty simple. The code is drum roll. It is artistic.
Make it hard.
It's artistic. So just use the word. It's
Artistic.
artistic. So discount code artistic, one shirt or one hoodie. It'll only work for the artistic
Guys,
window
order,
film
it's gonna
stuff,
be free.
and it'll be free. So that's that giveaway. But we'll find out when people. I'll keep an eye on it over here, so I'll get an idea like when somebody actually uses it. So again, it's discount code artistic. Use it at shop.tintwiz.com for an artistic window films hoodie or T-shirt. Buy one, use that discount code. It'll be free for the first 5 people. To be quick enough to do that, we probably lost 5 viewers to the show just now.
Yeah.
No, probably more, I would imagine. But
Hopefully they come back, Eric.
hopefully they come back to brag or to complain. Either they'll be celebrating or pissed off.
Yeah.
All right, we have our first. Oh, I'm sorry. We have our first winner real quick. I just want to say Dylan Barbeau.
Oh, Dylan.
It's got to be Dylan Barbeau out of
To Tint Wiz. Wait, where do they order it from? The Tint Wiz, right?
shop.tintwiz.com.
Shop.tintwiz.com, you guys.
There's my mom. That was my mom, yeah.
But she didn't go order. She just put artistic.
Well, she put the discount code up there to make it easier for everybody.
Okay.
Oh.
Hello, Mom.
And then there's Dylan. Dylan's the first winner. And
Dylan's is on the way.
Dylan's got fast fingers.
He's probably got like his phone and then the computer on the side.
It's good to have fast fingers. That's something that, like, what I mean by that, it's good to be comfortable typing because you have to understand, like, everybody's using your phone or you're using a computer. So if you're one of those people who feel a little not proficient at typing or doing that, you should actively work to speed it up, because if I can type 3 times faster than you, I can literally I can get through things 3 times faster. An email takes 1/3 of the time. So, like, those are things that, like, they're really important to have fast phones, fast computers, fast fingers, right?
Fast heat shrinking.
Fast heat shrinking.
She heat shrinks faster. Tesla back windows faster than me.
How do you what do you use? Do you use a heat gun or a torch?
Heat
We use
gun.
a heat gun.
Just a regular
tried
heat
the
gun?
torch for a little bit. Just didn't pick up on the whole torch.
So, competition. You guys work together every single day on cars only, all day, every day, for how many years?
Well, I started in 94, I think 93 or 94, and that's just to say starting the whole industry. And
So
then
25 years you.
What's that?
25 years of tinting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Liz?
And then
And then me, yeah, I started helping him, just being the grunt person, just picking up trash and, 10 years ago, cleaning cars. And I was heat shrinking, but I was never really tinting. And I did that for a few years before I actually started laying film. But
And
10 years. But
10
not
years.
Physically tinting together. Tinting together, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years.
We have another winner.
Hillary got it.
Hillary, yep.
Yay, Hillary! She already went and ordered herself one, though. So
She did.
got an
Oh.
extra shirt or a hoodie.
Very nice. So you have 5 years of tinting together, nonstop, side by side, and then obviously many years of like before that at different capacities and so on.
Yeah.
You have no shit talking. You guys are pretty peaceful and calm. You're nice people. I think you have a huge advantage in this competition, like a huge advantage.
Thank you.
yeah, no, I'm curious too. Like you said, I'm not looking at
But
it
you
like
came out ahead of us on that poll.
who did.
Eric.
Well-
how did he get ahead of it? What team's he with?
It said somehow on it, and then we got
Yeah,
Jonathan.
He's gonna win.
Jonathan won as well. Good job, Jonathan.
Good job,
Yeah.
Jonathan.
Way to go, Jonathan.
I just ordered one. Oh, he ordered one or won one?
No, he
He
won.
won one, and then
Yeah.
Tim Johnson as
How many
well,
more? One more?
So that's
another winner.
3 more.
What? Sorry, I'm just double checking. So yeah, we've got a lot of winners out there. Very nice.
No, it's. I mean, we like we said, we tinted a windshield together the other day, and she's trying to claim that it should have been less time. But I'm thinking in my mind, as far as being hotter, being nervous, not familiar with the area, I think the timing we took is not only fair, but even it could take a little bit more because some of the extra prepping we might have done that wouldn't be ready for
Took
us.
us like 12 minutes or something.
I mean, I would say it was like 15. So I mean, even 15 on the windshield, 15 on the back window, and that's literally without a break apparently. So there's 30 minutes. All 4 doors together on each side, and I mean, it just sounds like there's a really tight amount of time. That I'm curious. Like I remember the one competition thing we went to in Tahoe or wherever it was that some people didn't even finish. You know, as far as maybe started over or just couldn't get it.
That's a tricky thing, right? And you're more likely to finish than a team that hasn't tinted together often because you have that sense of your own speed. But at the same time, if somebody's too worried about finishing on time, they may cut a corner at the very beginning that could cost them at the very end because, you know, you do have an hour and you do have 2 people. So an hour with 2 people is a lot of time and it's a little time. And it's enough time, but it could be, you know, it could be not enough time.
I do think, you know, from just as long as I have been tinting, I wouldn't say, you know, that I've been following every book or Instagram or Facebook, but I mean, for the most part, all the different competitions and magazines and things, and even the one we went to, I wouldn't say, but as we're mentioning, it seems boring. It just seems a little more strict. It just seems a little bit more kind of like, you know, maybe not as much fun to be going on, where it seems like in this case, which is the first call it competition I'm entering, this is the one I guess I really, if thought about it, am happy to get into. The other ones I just felt like it just didn't, it just seems like you go in, you do your job and you leave. This seems like we're not really even caring about the competition.
Yeah.
We're going in to have fun, meet people, say hello, shake hands, get signatures, photographs, all as much. As far as before, just all the other stuff, as far as competing isn't my main goal in this particular case. It's just meeting everybody.
Yeah.
Can you hear us fine?
Perfectly. Yeah, you're good. I do appreciate you trying to stay close though, but it sounds great. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, it's been said before, but like, you know, a couple standout things about this the Tinter event, Tinter battles in June 12th and 13th, is, you know, there's a lot of standouts. Look, but where I'm going with this is it's being put on by Tinters. It's not being put on by XYZ. It's being put on by Tinters, and it's being, you know, and it's a chance to meet other Tinters, and it's Tinters putting it together, executing their ideas, working together, and I'm sure tons is going to come from it. And like that's a huge evolution. So like, it's awesome that you're supporting it. You're going to be a part of it. It's an opportunity for everybody who gets to be there. If you're not going to be there, it's going to be streamed online. I'm definitely excited about it. And something that came up on Jason's Tinter Tuesday, which is on Instagram, which you were on a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But something he mentioned yesterday was like, he feels like this is a bigger deal or like better, like more exciting than the tint off that's happening the week prior in Orlando. And, you know, I feel like it's super exciting that now there's a second event. I can't even say how exciting that is. But I think it's important not to think of it in measures of this or that, because it's the industry needs 2 events. It needs 5 events. It needs 10 events. You know, this Tinter battle could look at the tint off and see some things it's done in the past. And the tint off in Orlando could now look at this tint battle and see some things that it wants to improve on next year. And, you know, you don't have Michael Jordan if the Bulls are the only team. Like there is no, you have to have 2 players, right? Like you have to have somebody for Mike Tyson to box against. So like, I just think it's important not to ever like think about it like, good, now this is better than them. It's more like we need more of this because, yeah.
That's a good way of thinking. Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. Now, you know, I don't want to say the tent off is boring,
It's a little boring. That's okay though. Sometimes
I
things are
guess in
boring.
reality, which we Liz and I, as being the team on this entertainment battle or tent battle, so we have this advantage in my statement here. But I do feel more welcome. The other things that were going on, I guess I just didn't feel, that I was being welcomed. It's just these booths that go on.
We don't know who was who. I guess
Nobody was. It's
Okay.
not that they wouldn't look forward to us showing up, but there wasn't a preparation of such. Now we're all almost
Right.
in groups together. We're posting
Okay.
where we're all going to be there, what hotels we're trying to stay at, and it's not a competition amongst each other. It's more of a
Right.
show and a gathering.
Okay.
So as you
Very
say,
fair.
the other can change it or just take another avenue with it.
Yeah, and the tent off, I feel like it wasn't talked about much.
It's not.
Even in
So
the group,
so
people
you
would be like,
you,
"Are you going?" Yeah, I'm going. Okay, that's it.
you just brought up a really, really, really great point. Like, okay, the feeling that as you go there, you said like you felt like you weren't as, I believe you said, you felt like you weren't as welcomed. And then you explained it, and I get it because I've gone many, many, many years to the tint offs, and of course, there's more of a sterile feeling. You're in an auditorium, there's booths. A lot of times you don't recognize the people at the booths. And, you kind of walk your way around. You probably gravitate to somebody you do know. And then you say, how am I going to do this for 3 days? Okay. But with that said, there's a lot of, okay, there's a lot of great to that environment and what comes from it. There's all great people at that environment, but I think you hit it on the head. You hit the nail on the head with it's the lack of like preparation beforehand. It's the lack of like get us involved like in a real way, not just a flyer and a date, but let's meet some people that are going to be there. Let's see some faces. Let's understand what the time frame looks like, not just from text in bullet points, but people actually talking about it.
Yeah.
And like bring life to it, because then when you go there, you're going to people, like you said, you'd feel welcome. So it's not, I feel like even the event, it's more like the lack of like personal and promotion before the event that you just doesn't get you hyped up.
Yeah, people are just stuck to their own groups, But one thing I could say that was great when we went, we got a bag full of goodies to take home.
Look, there's a lot of great to that event. I think everybody should go to it. Here's the thing. When I said earlier, it's a little boring. It's a little boring, but I'm going to go. I still would want to go every single year. There's nothing wrong with a little boring. The library is a little boring, but a lot of good stuff comes out of the library. So like, there's nothing wrong with a little boring. Everything has its time and its place, and it's not going to be that amped up, like octane, adrenaline 10 out of 10. It's a different environment, but there's a lot to be had from it. But I think what you're saying, every single person that's displaying at that event should be hearing what you're saying and understanding that people that work for companies have to have a physical video, like live person presence on the internet these days. If I don't know who works for Matico, I don't care about going to Matico's booth because I don't even know those people that are there. So it's cool, but I don't know them. Now, if I did know them and I'm like, hey, that's Daniel from Matico, even if I don't give a shit about the film or the new thing, like I say, I'm still going to go see Daniel from Matico, man. I loved it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's a necessity that you see some companies embracing. We know the Dean Mitchells of the industry and Rob Ruska of the industries and, Mike Burke of the industry. We know these people. And then you go, and then there's other companies you couldn't name a single person that worked there.
You're right.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. Like we say, I still don't quite visualize, just the other tinters. If I was to pass by somebody going one way and see another person going the opposite, like not to say who do you chase down to say hello to, but hopefully there's going to be this area where we are all able to, like, I'm sure I'll be standing next to somebody that is quite, popular in their YouTube channel and quite popular on their Facebook. And I maybe have just never came across them yet and wouldn't even know. So like we say, so hopefully there'll be another, like we say, a way to kind of start recognizing who's who, or even just to kind of, be able to tell, like you said, a booth, it's pretty obvious. If Liz is walking around with a window tinting queen shirt on, it's pretty obvious who she is. But some of these companies, names might not be as familiar, but even though they have it on their shirt or whatever, but it is just kind of, I'm curious, like we say.
You can't put the face to the name.
Yeah.
With a lot of these companies.
It's
Right.
really just people on feet walking around and not booths to recognize, like you said.
You've got the lanyard. You have to do a quick swipe at the lanyard, kind of like as you're looking, and look down and then back up, and then you kind of grab the name and the city and the.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, it's no. I think there's like I know you're saying. I think the Tint Wiz booth. Hopefully, will be a great place for people to gather and meet people. There's also a like area that the event puts on where it's kind of like a community area where like groups have different like meetings and so on. I feel like it's a good place to chit chat. But other than that, it's booth to booth. So you'll be in Orlando, yeah?
No.
Or no? Would you have been in Orlando if it wasn't for the tip batter?
We weren't planning on it.
Even if it was in the first one, did it get canceled twice, right? Even the very first one, I think we may have talked about it, didn't really plan on it. The second one, just with COVID, not to put it down in that direction, but I just didn't even care to try. I already didn't even know if I wanted to go when it was almost okay, let alone now that there's skeptics on flying planes and, wearing masks and everything. And so then when this came up, she was saying, we should go. And I already desired it in my head, but just taking that time off of work scared me. But I think since we really don't do too much, we don't take much time off, we're not taking advantage of that very often. This just seems like the perfect, not excuse. You don't need an excuse. It's just a perfect occasion to not miss. Everything just fits in place. And then the other one, as we said, same story. I haven't done it once. I don't know if I really care to, especially if it's the pressure of thinking you're going to compete. And of course you could just you don't have to even compete. You could still just go to look around, which would be nice. But then, like we said, I still look at it. I've never been to SEMA, but I get that impression. SEMA is so big, you can get lost in one day and not even get where you were trying to go. And then the next day kind of catch up, and it's just kind of more spacious, like you say, not the library, but it's just not like entertainment, I guess. This, hence the name, Tintertainment. It just seems like this will be more our style, just kind of fun. And not that I know that the other one wouldn't be, but that's just the impression and the energy I'm gathering from this one.
I think
you have a booth. Are you going?
I do. I am going, and I have a booth. Yes. One of the challenges with our booth is like, what do you put in a booth? So like typically, I'm just saying like we got to start. We're in 2021. What do you put in a booth? Like, what is the point of the booth? And like, all right, this is just my angle on it. You have people, so it's great. People get to meet people at the booth. Okay, people. And then you have what, like paper, like samples of things. So like, okay.
Games. You have to play games. Like
you could have
out prizes. You have to lure people into your booth.
You have to lure. Okay, let me ask you. Why are you luring them into your booth? So you have to have candy and ice cream. Why am I luring people into the booth so that I can do what? Like the whole point, I guess, is to me, it's like if I do a good job, if I do what I'm supposed to do throughout the year, communicating our company message out there, I should be able to have knocked all that stuff out already. Do you know what I mean? Like certainly there's going to be some people who are like,
you did all the homework already.
That's it. Well, that's what I'm getting at, I guess, is like, I don't expect somebody to walk to my booth and me be like, well, here's a 3-page brochure on Tint Wiz. I'll be like, why would I give you a brochure on Tint Wiz? Like that. And then why wouldn't you know? You get what I'm getting at. So where I'm really going with it is like, I had to rethink the booth for us in the sense that I'm just not interested in doing the traditional booth things. And then I feel like everybody in that auditorium on the tint side of it, the glass side doesn't matter, but the tint side of it should rethink what that booth could do and should mean to them because it's very expensive. I'm just saying, it's expensive to send people there. It's expensive for the space. It's expensive for the equipment and all. Not for me, because for me, I'm not even putting all that stuff in the booth. We have to rethink it. But I'm saying for the people who set up booths, that shit is really expensive. And if what happens is you send some staff out there, they go, they work really hard to set it up. They're a little tired. They talk. And by the third day, they can't wait to get out of there. I don't think that leads the best experience for the visitors. I don't think it leaves the best experience for the company getting value. I don't think it makes the most fun booth. So what I'm simply saying is the tint battle, what it came to be, like it's its own thing. It has like, we know, like there's the battle part, there's the charity part, there's the drive-through tint part, there's the auction part, there's the cookie eating contest part, there's going to be a kids part, there's all sorts of things. I wasn't supposed to say
you're
that.
gonna win, right? The cookie
But
eating contest.
I'm going to win the cookie eating contest. But
And
where
then
I'm going
Cody
with,
and then me.
it'll be me, you, then Cody.
Or I'll take third. I just want some cookies. I'll take last if I get the cookies, I guess.
And they'll be there.
Even if
I
I
mean-
only eat one, I'll sever the only one I'll eat. Everyone else has got 5 down.
You know, truly, I would feel bad if we ran out of cookies in general. Like, I mean, like anybody who's visiting, I want them to have cookies. Like, that's just an easy thing. They're cookies. So we'll probably have so many cookies that somebody's going to get sick from eating so many cookies, and then they're not going to be able to tint.
Wait, is it gonna happen before the tint battle? 'Cause
Look, there's going to be
it
cookies.
should happen.
I don't know when the competition's going to be. That's up to Carlos. I don't remember. But there's going to be cookies at the beginning. So you might walk up, start eating cookies. Before you know it, you have a stomach ache, and then game over for you. I'm just saying.
We're not touching them.
And if every team that happens to and nobody finishes, I think that's how me and Bob actually win. If every team,
If you get disqualified,
Yeah.
the only one left is the cookie provider.
Yeah.
that's it. So, look, where I'm going with this is I think the tint off for Orlando like is an awesome event. I'm just saying, I know you're not going to it, but hopefully next year, hopefully it'll be a more convenient time next year too. But what I'm really saying is it's not like some thing to be judged. It's a living thing that we all have a hand in, and we can all, it's a meeting event. It's tremendous resources go into putting that together. So hopefully this new way of tint battle coming together might sprucing up the old way and so on. And you know, I don't know.
I mean, I only go to the Super Bowl for the halftime show. So if they just have a halftime show in this the Orlando, then maybe more people would show up.
You know, it's not a bad idea. I thought that kind of could have been where it went with like the tinner battles, frankly, because I thought like, I feel like Carlos could come down from the ceiling at the tint off in Orlando with smoke. And like, do you know what I mean? Like, or he could have been like during the tint off when people are like tinting, he's like cursing from the sideline. But like, I know they take it very seriously, and that would not probably be a part. But what you're saying is a point of like, people want to feel engaged, and it can't feel so hush hush. Today is more of a day of like, hey, look at me, let's do something fun and silly and take a video of it. Not a day of like I'm saying in general, like society, like you can find your realtor or your lawyer on TikTok making a funny video these days. So like, it can't be like, shh, we're tinting. Shh. I don't know.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Whatever.
I do know, like, as far as not that this is or maybe not related, but like we were invited to a car show. And again, we almost just felt like we didn't want to take the day off. I think it was going to be hosted on a Saturday at the time. We were working Saturdays. And so in theory, we finally agreed. And then we set up the booth. I felt like it looked pretty, you know, it represented our business. We had our own banner, and I had some things and maybe some film. I can't remember what displays, not a lot. But as you mentioned, people find our phone number, find our address. They come in, they call, and we're very busy with our work. But when we put up this booth, now we're just sitting there, and we're used to being as popular and crowded as we are. So people's personalities when they come in, but now people are just like, you know, walking a half a mile an hour past, just staring at our booth, just looking at stuff. And it's a like you say, an uncomfortable a familiarity for how busy and excited we feel our customers are. And now we're like, you know, it's not a negative thing, but we're just like, it doesn't seem as friendly and inviting. And that's why you got to sell yourself. You know, come on over here. Let's show you what we got to offer. You know, and then you can engage with your potential clients. Or
So Patrick said, isn't one of the events about entertainment and one about information testing and so on? Yes, for sure. The tint off is more about information. They have breakout sessions where you can hear great speakers. They have booths. There's information and so on. But I started this by saying there should be both, and I'm not putting them down in any way. But I do want to say, like, yeah, it's about information, but isn't there a modern way of relaying and receiving information? Like, Dave, you were just saying about how, like, You know, like there's no like hype build up to it. Like I've watched more TikTok videos on people putting caulking or renovating their bathroom than I haven't seen anything like that about the information or learning about this tint off. So what I'm saying is like, yes, there will be a lot of information shared there, but in this modern day, I do think it's important to engage an audience, which would be the visitors of the show, with that information in like a modern way. So like we can call it information, and I agree, but information can still be fun, because if not, it becomes so freaking boring potentially that then nobody even gives a shit anymore. So like, you know what I mean? Like
They're going one ear and out the other. I wouldn't even listen.
it's good as information. It's good that it's serious, and it's good. A lot of good comes out of it. But I just think that it's important to still say, okay, but how can that information be put out there and received for everybody's benefit? Current. That's all, right?
Well, I do think, if I'm not mistaken, that the companies putting it on are a very high level of a corporate, kind of, as you say, they probably are taking things to a more serious level, or they don't have the room to just tell people, okay, like TikTok videos, just have as much fun as you can. And it's
How is that possible? They have a marketing department. They're smart. They're very smart people. They have a marketing department and so on. They can look. McDonald's is making TikTok commercials. They're as corporate as you could be, right? So like, I don't know who is so corporate that they're not capable of adapting to modern day. I don't think is that what you were saying? Because like, I just don't.
No,
I don't. Not off the hook.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
not off the hook.
It's kind of like we're saying you can't teach the old dog new tricks.
You can.
All these corporate people are higher class, and like, I'm happy with where I'm at. I don't want to change. I'm not trying to follow these young people, because if it goes wrong, it's on me and not them, and then they just move to the next. So let's keep it on a strict linear line of just kind of not information, but it is what it is, and we do our jobs.
That's where this crossroad has now come in, because you have this new tinter battle. Before, it was not a conversation. Now you have this tinter battle, and you have, well, what are they doing, and what are they doing, and is this a competing thing, and it drew up a little bit of like feelings of maybe like there's some competition and there's similar weeks and this and that, and it's like, okay, so what will be the next move? Digging your feet into the sand and saying, we like exactly how it is, and we're going to do whatever we can to tear down their building? Or are we going to say, hey, this is a great opportunity to reevaluate and see where we can improve, and let's grow these buildings tall, and let's build a city instead of tearing down the building that's under construction next to us and saying we like our building? Like, you know what I mean? Either you end up with a bunch of rubble or you end up with a new metropolis. And at the end of the day, if like two restaurants hypothetically are next to each other, it's in their best interest that more shit comes up there so that they get tourism than the other restaurant goes out of business and now they're the only restaurant. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's
no, and if
you're gonna see
if this turns out on a higher level of interest with the entertainment versus the other show, then like you said, they kind of realize how did we not get more publicity or more guests to show up to our event? Apparently we need to take it towards the direction that got more energy.
Nobody can,
like you said,
right? Nobody can take from one another. You can just like, nobody can make you go to the tinter battle and not go to the tint off. You did that based on what you wanted to do. So like, it could have gone the other way, right? You could have been like, there's no way I'm missing Orlando, but I can't unfortunately make it to Houston because I have to work. That could have been possible. But based on their offering, that's not what happened, right?
But when they say who's your typical audience, in the content conferences, would you say you're looking for, window tinters as your people to view you, or the customers getting the tint jobs? Whereas this tintertainment, I really think it's more directed towards the industry, the tinters and the paint protection people, all the people that are just in the industry. Whereas in the other field, I think we're trying to teach, like Patrick said, where it's information for people that don't even know anything about window tinting. So I guess there is a combination of both here. There's us tinters having fun, and then there's a event going on to show support for a program that some people didn't even realize. Like, you tell people, what do you do for a living? You say, I'm a window tinter, and they say, you really tint that many cars to make a living out of it? But yeah, there's shows, competitions. I mean, this is a big thing here.
So you're saying that the tinter battle kind of has more of that aspect?
The audience from what? Say it again.
So tell me again then, who's the audience for both as you see it?
Well, that's what I would think. If I was a corporate business soliciting window film. I would be more trying to, my audience would be up and coming businesses that want to purchase my film.
Hold on. You're saying if you're a manufacturer, distributor of window film, right?
I think if you saw these events going on, you could learn. You're learning about the industry on a higher level of deciding. Look at what's available for me to create a business and use the window tinting world. This is what's going on. These are films that are available. These are the corporate people hosting this whole thing. So as an entrepreneur, I'm learning about the industry, and I'm being seen how quickly people can tint and how serious they take it. With the tintertainment, like I said, I'm the window tinter. I am an owner, but I'm not a very big shop in the sense of saying multiple shops and big shops. And so I think that I'm in the entertainment of just, I've been tinting and I want to meet fellow tinters. I'm not in it to figure out if I want to switch brands. I'm not in it if I want to figure out to move or create a whole nother business. I'm in it.
Well, okay. So that's another really good point you bring up is what was the function of the conference 15 years ago? What is the function of the conference today? And I would think that if we go back even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even today, in a lot of people's eyes, it may be simply like, who's getting the booths there? Manufacturers and distributors. Why? So that they have an opportunity to see you and hopefully lure you into their booth, as Liz put it, and then get you to hopefully buy their product, right? And because if not, they're not going to see you now for another year until the next one. Because that's it, right? They might stop by your shop if they're in the area once a year, maybe. But why would they if they're not, maybe on a sales call? They might cold call you. They could email you. But the point is, that's their one opportunity to sell you. Now, if they're doing a proper job, they have 365 days as an opportunity to get to know you and communicate with you. This physical event has to be for something else. Because like you said, you're not walking around looking for what film to pick up. Most people aren't at this point. They know what film they picked up. Maybe they're going to make a switch, but they could have made that switch any other day of the year as well. So that day is not that for them necessarily, which comes back to reevaluating what you do in your booth and how you engage, right?
So what are you going to do in your booth? Is that a huge secret?
No, it's not a secret. But I'm not going to tell you.
You're going to sit there and sign autographs?
No, I would think, like you said, what samples? You can't hand out samples other than explaining to people they could try your app out for free.
He's going to be giving all his gear.
Yeah.
Cups, shirts, hats.
I just feel like, what can you do in person that you can't do? Like I know what you can do, but it's not like, I just can't imagine seeing like 100 people being like, hi, have you heard of Tint Wiz? No? Let me tell you all about it. Hi, my name's Eric. Like, there's no fucking way. Like, there's no way. Like, this is about going to freaking see people and, like, hang out and chat and, like, see people in person, But, like, I don't feel like it's about, like, hey, this is my opportunity. Like, there's no way. And I just think that that's, like, what I'm suggesting is for other manufacturers, because you mentioned that you don't feel as welcomed and so on, if there's other reasons to go to a booth other than just to see their samples, there'd be other reasons to go to this event as well. Because I'm not saying there's not other reasons, but I'm saying that that's a missed opportunity now. I think that part of it's evolved, but hasn't changed as much, is I guess where I'm going with it.
And I do remember in the magazines, because I didn't really read up on it, but I saw how they were having certain dinners, before or after the competitions, and they were going over certain, talking about new and upcoming things. So there were, more to do that you could obviously just compete and go home, or they had the dinner events where you can learn up on certain, there was a title to what they'd be going over in the discussion. It's a free dinner and we're going to have a topic.
They have those topics. They have that throughout the entire event. And for anybody who's going, you do have to purchase a separate ticket for those educational breakouts than the regular conference. And I'm saying that because you should buy that ticket and go to those educational, because you're not going to want to spend the entire time walking around the conference, and you won't want to miss what those speakers are talking about, because that's extremely valuable information. Like, those are, that, no doubt about it. But still, they're going to be what?
Is it going to be streamed online?
No. And that's so not last year, 2 years ago in San Antonio, I'm just passing this story that I ran into. Like I was there and somebody said to me, I was filming with my phone out and somebody said, you're not allowed to do that. And I was like, what do you mean? And they said, I just got yelled at by somebody for doing that. You're not allowed to film other people's booths unless you have their permission. So you can't just like kind of walk by and film broadly, but you could film in somebody's booth if you had their permission. Now, that to me is stupid. And
Yeah.
I'm just saying, not to be too specific, but I find that dumb. And I think that it should be encouraged for everybody to be filming as much as possible. And it should be streaming. And in my opinion, if I can't make it to the event, I should be able to watch every second of it online, maybe for free, because I know that you could get sponsors to pay for the ad space, so that I'd rather get 1,000 tinters who didn't go to watch this whole event and see an ad for me maybe and have some awareness, or maybe even just see my booth in the event. I'm just glad that somebody saw my booth that wasn't there, maybe thousands of people, than charging for the live streaming and it not being an authentic version of the event. So like, if I'm just simply saying for free, if you had people walking around with GoPros and head cams or whatever, or video, legit camera equipment and streaming that entire event, going booth by booth, showing the booth, meaning if you don't go, you're still going to see my booth. You can see everybody's booth. That's providing such tremendous value to those sponsors. I feel like that's the way to engage people, because next year you may want to go. Now, their argument would be, wow, nobody's going to go if you can just watch it for free online. That's bananas, because you can watch basketball games for free on TV, but you still want to go to the damn game. There's no question about it. So like, it's just that thinking of what direction is this event going to go in. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I think it's good conversation and I think it helps things move forward. I'm not talking shit. I'm really not. But you both are bringing up really great points about the event. And it's frustrating that it's not going to be live streamed like as if I'm watching a Super Bowl on TV, because it should be. And if you went to the online version of the event that came out a month ago or 2 months ago, the sneak preview or whatever, it was disappointing, in my opinion.
They didn't have Carlos come out there and introduce it.
But it was basically you clicked into a chat room, and there was a chat room for basically every manufacturer, and then there was like nobody there, and then they had a couple Zoom events.
Yeah, I mean, eventually,
that can't
like
be
you
it.
say, things have to change for the ease. I mean, as far as getting your food delivered to your house, on the news they were just saying now that things are lightening up, the people that didn't even want to have to order groceries to their house are now sticking to it. They don't even want to go back to the grocery store. Now they're allowed to, and they're just sticking to that. It was so much more convenient. And so, like you say, is again, if they see how the Tintertainment's, so many people are interested. Once again, if it's on whether YouTube, we don't think it'll shut down in the future. But if it does shut down, it's gone. But I'm saying it should be there forever. So somebody could have been watching the old conferences from 5 years ago, but now they're limited to just apparently whatever somebody was able to upload because they were given the privilege.
Like how many events has there been so far? I've only been to maybe 5 or 6. It's probably been like 15, 20. There's probably video from every single one of those. There's no hype videos as promo videos that they could put out showing the progression of the years, different you could show people, like if you show like Billy Ayton 10 years ago, I'm sure people would get a kick out of it. Like all that sort of shit like makes you want to go because you see the camaraderie and you see the people throughout the years and you see the evolution. Nothing. A still shot from like a stock photo of Orlando's skyline. That can't be it. We went down a rabbit hole, and I never want to. I'm not trying to talk bad about this event because I love the event. Everybody should go, but I think these are definitely like opportunities for the event to get better. That's all.
Yeah, that's why we didn't want to go.
I do think we probably, if it wasn't for the Tintertainment, I do think we would have made an event, because now that we're talking to so many people on social media, then there would have been that connection when we got there. Whether I or neither of us competed or not, we would at least be either rooting for somebody or just being able to see everybody. The first time we went, I knew Ralph Van Pelt because we were using his film, and then I think the person that who's the Nipsey guy for the Winnipeg Theater?
Did he win that year?
Who won? Yeah, I think it might have been him. I think
that year though that we went.
Yeah, I think it was something, but I didn't even know
Yeah.
that. I don't think I knew who he was at the time. And then maybe it's not even the same person. But that's the whole point. I wasn't caught up to date when we went. I knew who Ralph was. And so that's what made it like, wow, that's only, I think it was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours away from us. So that was worth the drive. We were there for less than a couple hours and then drove all the way back home. And so an event like this, like we're saying, I mean, we're getting on a plane flying to Texas, right? In a sense. And then so we're going to be there for like 3 to 4 days or something. And that's like exciting. And it's going to sound like I'm going to be meeting a bunch of people I've seen. So that's, again, with these events, the conferences and all that, I still think that I would attend those in the future. But now it seems like there could just be that other kind of niche that if that one comes up next year again, if the Tintertainment has a second event next year involved in it or not, we would love to probably kind of visit more of that atmosphere again. Or like we said, if they turn around the other kind of revenue, or those conferences, if that's what they're called, the tint competitions, to that more interesting kind of level.
Yeah. Yeah, because like being in a magazine and having a booth at an event, I just simply think that it's undisputable that the value of that has gone down in more cases than it's gone up. Having a billboard, the value of that has gone down more than being on TV. The value has gone down more than the value has gone up compared to what's accessible online. I just think that, there's
No, like you said with McDonald's having TikToks. I mean, it's to say that level of taking advantage of ways to only better yourself. And as far as like that Get with the Times program, they joking around say that when all these YouTube homemade videos became really everyone wanted to watch them, then the people with money downgraded their equipment so that it looked like it was another home video. The more they're making them look like home videos, when in really they're not behind the scenes, they're getting more views now. So they're happy, as you're saying, they're following the trend, but trying to make it look like they are the trend and we're not the corporation.
Yeah. Yeah. And, kind of shifting subjects, but on a similar note, like what you're taking advantage of here by building a following, building a local following, building beyond the local, building a following within the window film community, becoming known. You're investing into your brand. You're making videos. You're putting yourself out there. Like, I just know that more and more, like, if you go back 5+ years, a manufacturer or a distributor, it didn't, like, you carrying their film didn't get them more dealers. However, now there are dealers out there that them carrying their film or using their film gets them more dealers. So that the leverage there, the relationship has evolved. It's not simply, what do you purchase normally? Okay, you can carry our films and buy our films. Now it's, how many people follow you? Will you carry our films? Can you buy our films? Will like, it's changing, and it's going to change more and 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 more. And when distributors are shifting their efforts in that direction, there's less efforts to be shifted to traditional methods typically, which goes back to what we were just talking about. So I think you're right on point. Building your customer base, building your local, but also building yourself within the community. And like, this event gives you the opportunity to do this. Like, if you're a film distributor, are you not looking at the 6 or 7 teams that are competing and saying, which ones are carrying our films, which ones aren't, which ones use our films, which ones? Like, you are. It's got to be in their heads.
No, I think too, like with Liz, like as much as he's built our Facebook page, as you say, we have a following, and Liz is spill the beans with the window tinting queen. It is a
hopefully I don't get hated because I'm going to be talking about stuff that what people should do,
But it's good that she has like we have a following of people, like you said. How many people are following you? So we're off to a good start. And if it turns out like a well thing, that let's just say if only half of people like it or a quarter of the people, well, how many people we have following us? That's a lot of number to even just get a quarter of people to be interested in it. If you're starting off brand new, it's hard to really brand yourself from the beginning and the ground up. And as you're even saying, and I followed along, that like you're saying, you've been around for quite some time, but really, as even myself, just more noticing you for the last year or two,
yeah.
It's just kind of like I don't know why you hadn't then, or if it was really just the podcasts and things, or what was really making it stick deeper now. But that's what's nice.
Because his face is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
I mean,
so you're good branding yourself, Eric.
if you look at my join date of the groups, it's I think 5+ years ago, like of a lot of the groups that were around there, like Window Tinters United, like it was years and years ago. But at the same time, like at the time, I saw tremendous value in being on the groups and reading because things would come up, film solutions, what do you do if this? And I would just kind of archive it in my head. And if I came across it, that was one less problem I had because I remember what to do as a solution. So I just felt like, look, anywhere you can possibly get information, even if, and I'm not saying it is in this, but I'm saying even if 9 out of 10 things are kind of stupid and 1 out of 10 is gold, you got to be panning through dirt to fucking find the gold. So like, it's not a problem. That's how life is. Nobody's like, you're not getting good information from anybody all around.
When I started like 4 or 5 years ago, when I physically was laying film on glass, he actually told me join the groups. So I joined the groups and I got so much help. That's why I was able to, once I started tinting, I was like going from doors to back windows to windshields to visors. I was tinting whole cars within that year time frame because of the group. When I would get stuck, and he'd be off, playing frisbee golf or something with his friend, I'd stay behind and tint. I'd stay behind and I would ask the group versus asking him, like, how do I'm stuck here, I had so many people that were like willing.
She was saying that she was on beauty groups, and then when she got into the tinting group, she's like, there's more drama on here than all these girls I'm in groups
with. There's definitely a little bit of a little bit of shenanigans here and there, but where is there not,
Yeah, because when I came off, I was coming off as, doing the whole wearing a bikini, tinting, and doing stuff like that. Like, I don't do it anymore just because it's not my thing.
Now I'm wearing the bikini.
And I would get shit from guys, and and I don't want that type of attention, is all I'm saying. I want people to know me for my, tinting skills and for me, not,
Yeah, even the social media knowledge, like we're saying, it's, 2 people can have a class and one person could really be teaching you what's in the book and another person can be just teaching what they've been doing. It might not even be half or even a quarter of what's in the book, but because that's all I'm doing well with and that's what's working out. So the value of what someone is showing you, the results, is more important than the value of what someone's showing you they can teach you in this book.
Yeah.
So I think, like she says, she has a lot to bring to the, with the community as far as in the groups and people asking questions. And that's what's funny. People ask, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to tint a window. And if somebody shows you a method, it's the other people that want to chime in. And it's not as though they're saying you've done it wrong. They want to show off how they're doing it. And then it just looks like everyone's trying to say the next person did it wrong, which isn't really what's going on. It's just, that's not how I would do it.
Right. Yeah.
But wow, you were around that long? I thought you were new.
When did your app come out? When did you officially start your app?
So, the app, I started developing the app. It had to have been 2015, 15, somewhere there. Now, it was open to the public. Like, you could go to just like make an account as of, I would say, July 2018, maybe. And then, July 2018, August 2018, somewhere there. And then, no, it was 19. I'm a little confused on years. I feel like I'm a little lost on years, to be honest. But it was the same year I sold the company. That's when the app we shifted it. So it was either December, like the end of 18 or the end of 19. And I truly don't remember. I think it was the end of 18. And here's the deal. Like, my thoughts on it were, as far as like, cause you're like, well, you didn't, first and foremost, when I originally in the groups, I really was taking that position of what do I have here to offer? I'm not here to like teach anybody. I didn't really realize that people are so receptive. I kind of felt like people, if you talked on there, you pretty much ran the risk of somebody like stomping you, like just like for no reason, like, hey, I'm going to try and help you. And then you're like, now I have to prove myself to you. Like, no, thank you. Like, that's the vibe I kind of got. So it kept me quiet because I'm like, I don't need to like prove anything, but I'm here to learn and help if I can and, whatever we can do. And then obviously with the app, I'm like, I've got to get the app out there, but I wanted the app to be out there in a way that people talked for it, because I didn't want to say, how can I talk about the app to get attention? I said, if I can make it successful by, instead of talking about it, by doing so well with it that other people talk about it, then, and it's not an original concept, but it just, to me, seemed like a fail-proof one, because I can talk all I want over here. It doesn't mean I'm going to do a good job. But if other people are talking about it, success. So like, it's kind of like a narrow way of looking at things. Like, do you know what I mean?
We look at our
like,
business the same way. We look at our business the same way. Our customers are doing all the talking for us. We don't have to go out there and say we're the best. We don't have to go out there to advertise ourselves. Our customers do the talk for us.
So I do like some of the advice I hear from people when they talk about trying to start a new business, or they give advice like, try going down to your local dealerships, and then people say, oh, don't ever do the dealerships or whatever. But I kind of feel like, well, what makes you think there's not already somebody there? All the advice I sometimes hear people give, they act like this is day one for every person in the world.
Right.
But yet you realize, prepare them that when you're going to step in and tell another company, hey, would you consider me for window tinting? You should first approach it with, I'm sure you might already have somebody. I'm just kind of putting my name on your list because I know that this other company of yours, they might have a day they take off and you need someone to kind of, emergency call. I hope I can be that person. And then they might say, actually, we don't have somebody. But it's just funny how a lot of the advice is all about like, there's not already somebody doing what you're trying, the advice you're giving them to start a new business.
Right. And that's how you're going to actually approach somebody in reality versus hypothetical. So like, here's one that gets me is like, and I've heard this from a lot of people that I very much highly respect. So it's like, I'm not trying, like, let me do a no shit talking disclaimer. But if I'm a tinter and I go, hey, how do I get into flat glass? I want to sell more flat glass. If you tell me to go approach an architect, my fucking head's going to explode. Like, I'm just saying, I did a hell of a lot of flat glass. We never approached an architect. Now, can you approach an architect? Absolutely. Can you go spec in buildings and can you go make relationships with architects and so on? Absolutely. Is there a ton of money there? Absolutely. But if you're a tinter and your day is tinting and you're going, I need to get my foot into flat glass, your first step should not be going to talk to architects. It should be getting somebody's home tinted, or maybe somebody's dentist office, or the local hardware store, or the Taco Bell that has glare coming in. Not going to approach architects, because that is an overwhelmingly vague, ambiguous, huge task. Architects. How many architects have you spoken to? Like, it's like saying, I want to get into car tinting, and they're like, go speak to some automotive engineers. It's like, well, no, how about I just go talk to the guy who just bought a car? Well, he'll need tint. I don't need to go to the guy who engineered it. It would be great if I did, but like, let's talk reality. So anyway, I guess like the one thing that really stood out to me that's part of like that direction is the phrase, the best way to get someone to say yes is to get them to ask you. So like, if you want the business of car dealerships, you're like, I want to get all the car dealerships. You absolutely can go to all the car dealerships and ask them for their business. That'll work for sure. But you could say, I'm going to do what it takes to get them to call or contact me and offer me their business because they want us to tint their cars at their dealership. And they both work. It's going to be a little harder to do the second one, but it's going to have a tremendously better reward than the first one. That's all I'm saying.
That's why we do the first come, first serve. Customers want us to tint their car. They want to come in to see us. But when we do the whole appointment, we feel like,
Yeah, if the emotional, like when I have an appointment, again, like for a dentist appointment, now I feel like I'm welcome. Now I feel like when I walk in the door, I'm not saying 100%, but I'd like for them to say, hello, you David? And to say that statement, well, I'm probably one of 5 guys, 3 or 2 or 1. How many people are calling in at 8 o'clock in the morning? So that personality of, I expect a lot as an appointment. But if I walk into like first come, first serve, you've got people going, are you paying cash? Okay, no, okay, we don't have time for you. Are you paying? And it's like, you got to fight your way in at our shop or you won't get in. And it's kind of that, it's nice to know that people are.
Yeah, they want to come to us. They're fighting their way to get in.
Yeah, when I worked at the casino, it was funny because obviously sometimes people don't want to be working. So it's funny how the statement was, we always said, we're always fighting to get out of here, but all these people that were gambling were fighting to get in. And it's the same thing with our customers. They're fighting to get in, and we're doing our best to try to get what we can.
Yeah, because with even appointments, they'll call, cancel, want to reschedule. Now we're on their time frame. Now we're like trying to go after them.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why we don't like appointments.
Yeah, I'm sure the people that are doing it have their pros and cons, and it's used to them, and they're thinking the opposite of how we handle it. But it's just on track for our personality.
So, and our business. It works for our business, no appointments.
I like it.
We like coming. We like showing up at, when he opens the door about 6:30 and having a lot full of cars. So we love that feeling, like, oh wow, here's our day. So.
I love it. I really do. The Jiffy Lube, like, I feel like there's an opportunity to be like the Jiffy Lube of tint. And what I mean by that is they basically do one thing. There's no appointments, and you come for that one thing and you leave with that one thing. And what you do while it's happening is up to you. They're not really concerned. There's not, you know what I mean? Like it's like the flip side to the auto spa with the beautiful waiting area, and it's just the flip side. And there's room for both. But I think there's a lot of money in what's going on.
Dave dropped my car off to get the oil change, and he forgot to go pick it up.
And they're closed now.
Shut up, really?
It's just across the street.
I just looked. I see that their thing's closed, but I meant to get it earlier, and I forgot, and so now I'll just have to get off to somehow figure
get it in the morning.
You have a car to get home?
Yeah, we have 2 cars, but she'll usually leave before me, and then I'm sticking around after work putting all the receipts together. And
all right, well,
but they're closed. But
they're closed. Our car is locked in there. So.
All right. So real quick, let's touch on that real quick. You run your business completely by drop-off only. There's absolutely, under no circumstances, appointments. How often do you find yourself with like dead time in the morning or throughout the day?
I mean, I honestly, she said, I usually try to get to work prior to 6:30, as early as 6. Kind of, if I leave the house 10 minutes before, I'll get here by 6. If I leave at 6, I'm 10 minutes after. And then I'll open up and just turn lights on and do these things. And generally 9 out of 10 times before 7 a.m., 1, 2, or even 3 people have already now here. And then if they're not, I would say within the first 30 minutes, phone calls or people are now kind of showing up. But it's crazy because I'm so used to that. If it's 7:05, nobody's here. I wouldn't say I'm freaking out, but I'm just like, where is everybody? It doesn't make sense right now. And then the phone calls, 3 will all pull up at the same time, 3 people with drop-offs. That's 6 cars, people coming in. Then the crowdedness kind of starts. And then, like she said, we usually get that rush enough in the morning that we kind of look around like, okay, I think we're set. This is going to be a good day for us.
Yeah.
And then if we happen to catch up at the end,
we'll pick up some, because we estimate, how long it's going to take per job and stuff. And then if we run that we're finishing up too fast, then walk-ins and phone calls will take more.
You could start doing we don't have any appointment. We don't have any more drop-offs today, but if you can do a 48-hour drop-off, you can leave it today. I don't know if you have the room, but you can start
to do overnight.
We have 72-hour drop-offs available. Make them drop it off for 3 days.
We can handle so many cars, and then the first 3 got left overnight, and we're already half booked for the next day. And then there's times where if somebody calls and says, I am 30 minutes or an hour away, I don't want to show up and you tell me we're full, then I say, okay, well, what time is it? It's 7 o'clock. If you're here by 8, but no later, then I'll save you that spot. So it's not a full-on appointment. They may show up and we can discover you have old tint, and now we really can't take your car because you weren't willing to spend the extra to have us remove it first. But I had that kind of relationship on the phone that I'll save the spot if you're driving, but we're not saving the spot for 2 o'clock later today.
Almost 1,000 reviews, but one of those is a bad review that you got last week, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
There was no comment behind it.
It hurt us so bad.
Do you know who it is?
He woke up and he was like, "Did you see that 1 star we got?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm glad that I didn't get it because I wouldn't have been able to sleep. So we saw it in the morning.
But it's liberating, isn't it?
I track, I have a spreadsheet. I do track our customers with pictures, with their reviews, who left it. I pretty much know who left the review from my spreadsheet that I use. And this person, I can't find their name. And so and they left a 1 star with no feedback or anything, which is unfair to a business. You know, I feel if you're going to leave a business under 5 stars, you should leave feedback. So we
Yeah.
know, we're not always perfect. We want to know what happened. And, later on in the
Yeah,
future,
you can't solve the problem if there's no problem.
Was it a 1-star or 3-star?
It was a 1-star.
Isn't that funny how like you're either like somehow you blew 980 people's expectations out of the water. However, with this person, you weren't even mediocre. You were the worst you could have possibly been. You're the worst. You are the worst.
Well, I've even said, I've always said that, like, call it McDonald's, but when I think of the word 5 stars, it's kind of like the term a 5-star hotel. So I don't relate to service to be in the past. That's kind of how I viewed it. And so I always felt like, well, to be a 5-star would have to be like the great vacation and going to the beach and all these things. But to say, how do you say McDonald's was ever a 5-star? And that's kind of like, well, how was your service? Well, yeah, they got me. I mean, when I went in, everyone was friendly. They asked me, how are you? I got my food. They asked me if I needed extra fries or whatever, And so I guess it makes sense to think that even, a 99-cent store could still get a 5-star review if everything to your expectations came out the way you expected.
Right.
And so it is weird. We've had, I think recently we did get a 4-star and we didn't even question the customer or nothing. It's just kind of like,
Yeah, she came to pick up her car and stuff, and I was
yeah,
like,
we got the review before they picked it up.
Sometimes I do, like if we get, like a 3-star or something, because I know who it is, I'll message them. Say, could we have done something to,
or
whatever.
Is there something we could do to earn back the other 2 stars?
Yeah, the people that I've messaged with like 3 stars, 2 stars, their response was, what was it? No, actually, I marked it wrong.
Yeah,
I meant to mark 5 stars. I
pressed
it wrong, and I'm like, that happens too,
Yeah, pressing the 3 before the 5.
Yeah. So
start with the 1 and work your way up. Like.
Yeah. So we were able to, they changed it themselves. So, but without reaching out to them, I wouldn't have been able to. They wouldn't have changed it because they didn't know what was going on. So,
well, it's liberating that you got some bad reviews or a couple or whatever, because, as you get to 1,000, 2,000, if there's
we have some bad ones.
If there's 20,
they're not all 5 stars.
If they're 20, if there's 30 1-star reviews or 2-star, 3-star, and you get one, you're not going to lose sleep anymore. But early on, it's hard not to lose sleep. So that's why I'm saying it's a good thing. Like, no big deal.
It's just, losing sleep. It's just, I want to know what happened. That's all. I want closure, I want to know what happened. Like, what did we do? Why?
Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
if you left something, then I could fall asleep. Like, oh, I had bad service, or, I went in there and they ignored me.
Very often there's legitimate. Oh, shit. Hang on. You got a little stuff going on here on the program.
I'm going to fill up some water.
All right, I think we're back. Yeah, it's a little glitchy. A little glitchy on my end. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it might be a good time to wrap this up.
Yeah, but that was awesome when I did post that 5-star review on our Facebook. We had so many people that just commented with so much support, So it made us feel a lot good.
Yeah, and you probably, I bet somebody left you a good review after you post that. They were like, "Oh shit, I'll leave them a good review."
Yeah. We had, I think, 2 reviews that came in that were 5 stars.
Nice. Okay. Well, I think it's a good time to wrap this up before any further technical issues come up. It's this Sunday, 3 p.m.
This Sunday.
Yeah, this Sunday at 3.
This Sunday at 3. It's 3 3 Eastern. What did we say?
This way. There we go.
Hold on, but what time is it again? I completely spill the beans. Spill the beans with Window Tinting Queen. What time is it?
3. It's going to be 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific. So that's 6 Eastern, 5 Central. I don't know if earlier I went the other direction with time, but it's definitely, if it's 3 Pacific.
I don't have an agenda on what I'm going to be talking about, but it's just going to be an interview. We're just going to drink some wine, and whatever comes out. I might decide not to post the video later on.
Wait. No. You can't start doing that. I'll tell you one of the worst.
Oh, really?
You can't do that. You got to just post it. Because I'll tell you, sometimes I have to go through old Tint Wisdom videos, like to upload them somewhere, to crop cut them or something. And if I watch like an old video, like it repulses me. Like I'm like, oh my God. Like if I watch, like I'll see like,
That's why we
That's
didn't
what
want
I
to be
feel
on
with
your first
mine.
ones.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
why
see
we
like
didn't wanna be on your
Tint
first
Wisdom number 5, and I'm like, I can't just click off of it. And like the point is, like, don't watch it, don't evaluate it. Like if you want to watch it, but don't evaluate it. Once it's there, it's got to be there, and you got to go to the next one and get better and better and better. But don't torture yourself.
Okay, so yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah. So post it, you're saying? Who cares? Post it.
Live,
Everybody can watch
full
it.
send. If you don't like how you sound, don't listen to yourself. Put it that way.
I
What
don't
if
like
I
how
say
she
things
sounds.
that are like shouldn't even be said? So
Then hope that it works out for good publicity and learn for next time.
that's why I'm like, I'm gonna have some wine and just kind of chill and talk and see how it goes.
If
And,
you say something
talk
that's a
about
little,
things normally people wouldn't talk about. So hopefully people don't get their feelings hurt. If I do bring up something about, I try not to bring out too many things about negative about businesses and stuff like that. But
yeah,
you know how that
Yeah, I mean-
post, I did post something to say, hey, if you want me to review your business, say something positive about your business. I'll say it, like, what I love about your business, and people have commented. I went in, checked it out and stuff, and I had good things, but I did have many negative things to say too. Like, this is an improvement that I would recommend that you do. I could look at a business and be like, oh, they need to do this. They should do this.
sure.
So
Well,
hopefully it goes well. I'm excited.
look, worst case scenario, you say some wild shit, you end up in Yuba City's newspaper the next morning, and you're famous. That's worst case scenario, like really. So enjoy. Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific, Facebook, pour yourself a glass of wine, and then watch Spill the Beans with the Window Tinting Queen.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching our show here too, everyone.
Thanks
Yes.
for having us, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for being on. I sincerely appreciate it, and best of luck with the show. I will be watching you spill the beans. So, yeah, see you on Sunday then.
Okay, see you on Sunday.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
for watching, tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see you next Wednesday, and then tomorrow is Clubhouse. Don't forget, Thursday nights are Clubhouse, Window Film Pros, and Tint Wiz. It's at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. There's a group on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is an app. You both were in there last week.
Yeah, I actually talked last week, which was awesome.
That was my first time talking. I even today, I like listening to it in just my ear because I just hear people chit-chatting live, and it's just nice to get little tidbits of information here.
And that's what I love about Clubhouse is it's not recorded.
No.
Say whatever you want. It's not recorded.
Not recorded. It's been so far a small group of people, but tremendous amount of knowledge and sharing. And it's like, it really is one of those things where I'm like, I don't really care if anybody else joins. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty happy with the group. But obviously, as more people join, it could like lead to more conversation and so on. So I really like, if you're not in there, you're missing out. You should join because
yeah, you guys should join.
It's like honestly a great little group of unique conversation, different than this. We come from an hour and a half of this. We go into Clubhouse tomorrow. It's a completely different type of thing. So
what time is the whole Clubhouse? Why don't you tell everybody?
Clubhouse is 8 Pacific, or no, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. So 5 Pacific for us West Coasters, 5 Pacific.
And
Clubhouse.
It's still just Apple.
Clubhouse is just an app on your Apple iOS device. You can download it for your iPad or your iPhone, and it's an app called Clubhouse. And then if you need an invite, because it's invite only, once you sign up, you can go in the Window Film Pros group and ask somebody for an invite, and somebody will invite you. You have to have an Apple device. If you have an Android, you're out of luck, and that is what it is. Nobody's choice but theirs.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again.
All right, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Everybody.
Bye, everyone.